You're listening to the Ask Drone U podcast. You ask, we answer your drone questions. Whether you're here to turn your passion into profit or you simply fly for fun, we're a community of learners and teachers who aspire to achieve greatness. We are
Drone U.
Hey everyone, and good morning, good evening, good day for our friends down in the Southern Hemisphere. Thank you again for joining us. As always, my name is Paul.
And my name is Rob. Super glad to be sitting here, hanging with Paul, hanging with you, and appreciative, as always, that you're spending a few minutes of your day with us. So thank you very much. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for all the feedback, the reviews, the subscribes, all that good stuff. We appreciate it more than you'll ever know.
Definitely do appreciate it. Also, a quick shout out to our members, the brand new community app. I know we've probably heard about our app before, but we have a new app because we weren't happy with the old app, but our new app is live. And I have to say, Rob, even in how I'm using it, I love the new feeds, how you have like a Facebook-like feed of what's the hottest, but you can also go to the latest. It's kind of like a Reddit feature. And I have to say, I have not been on the development side of this, but you and Tim really did a phenomenal job. Like, it's a really killer app.
Well, thank you. And I have to give most of the credit to Tim because he worked real hard with the developers, and I think everybody's pretty stoked about it. It is a massive improvement over our first effort. And sometimes that's the way it goes. But we're really excited. If you're a member and you're not on there yet, and we know that a lot of you haven't quite hooked up with the new app, it's only been out for a few days, so understood. But nonetheless, you need to get on there ASAP. Start interacting, sharing stuff, and getting feedback, giving feedback. It's just a great community, and we're excited to get it going on this particular app.
Definitely very excited about that, indeed. And so we're going to get right into today's question. I know a lot of you have been asking about our upcoming trainings. I've been getting Instagram messages. Rob's been getting emails. Company's been getting emails. Just so you know, we are really combining a lot of our trainings into essentially what I would say is kind of like a mini fly-in, which brings us to, we're calling it the Drone U Experience Training, which is so different from what we've done before. So if you want to join us in Austin, Texas this November, 7 days of training. But just like the Drone U Fly-In, you are going to have missions to perform, except everything is going to conglomerate at the end into this training so that you get the most value out of it. So what are we doing? Really quick, you've got to check out our experience page to see everything that we're doing. But first of all, we're starting off with Flight Mastery. We're moving into helping you get those buttery smooth shots with advanced aerial videography. And by the way, we're also, because you are staying on site with our instructors, with the Drone U flight crew, you're going to have an experience unlike you've ever had before. That dedicated one-on-one time, the things that you have been asking for, because this training is only open to 8 people. Getting back into the trainings, once we complete these trainings, you're actually going to have missions at sunset to complete to help you retain what you've learned. But on top of that, you're actually going to perform a marketing job for, well, the resort that we're staying at. Yep, that's right. You are going to be tasked with completing videos, photos, and a guest map for this particular resort, the resort that you're staying at, along with the Drone U flight crew. Now, that said, it's one of these trainings that we're taking to the next level. You know, we have business courses in Drone U membership, but nothing like this new business scaling course, which really showcases the practical aspects of creating autonomy in your business from start to finish. So you can focus on, well, the things that you love to do, the creative aspects, while autonomy engages your business, helps answer their questions for your clients, and not only that, but ties it all together to make delivering to your clients easier, increasing upsells and increasing engagement so you keep those clients. So you'll gain the confidence to fly in close proximity across multiple environments with our Flight Mastery course. Earn that certificate, and you're going to also save money on your insurance. Learn the buttery smooth flight motions and the tools, tips, and tricks of advanced aerial photography. That way you have the most opportunities to impress your clients. This way you can continue getting clients, continue wowing those clients, and do so in confidence. Now, here's the thing about this training. Our Drone U fly-ins have never had students put together their media and to be judged on that media in a Shark Tank style format. the students are going to present what they have done to make beautiful media for this property. And here's the thing, we're going to give you feedback, but the student who provides the absolute best media, well, you're actually going to win a cash prize. So between saving money on your insurance, learning how to fly buttery smooth, learning how to create beautiful materials, and learning the effective and efficient systems of running your business, capped off with the practical means of producing autonomy in your website from start to finish to make scaling your business absolutely easy. This is one of those trainings you absolutely will not want to miss, as we have tried to hit the entire A to Z workflow of completing a drone job and autonomizing it in the best possible means. That said, this class is only open to 8 students, but there's good news. If it sells out, which we already have more than 8 who are interested, and we're just now launching the sales page. But here's the thing, 20 students can join us for the Scaling Your Business course, which is taught live with Kara. And Kara actually utilizes these systems. And Rob, as you know, during the pandemic, Kara broke her back. And you know how she kept her business going and growing? It was these autonomous systems that kept her clients engaged, continued to deliver media, and even she continued to earn revenue. You want to know how? These autonomous systems. You're not going to want to miss this class. Make sure to check out the link in the description below to sign up. I promise you it's going to go fast. And I can't wait to see you there. This is one training that's kind of been my brainchild, as Rob knows. And Rob, I really greatly appreciate the flexibility in this, because I think that this is going to be one training that you will never forget. The memories and the experience that you have literally cannot be replicated anywhere else. So I hope to see you there.
Yeah, good show.
All right, we're done. All right, Rob, I know you're tired. I'm down.
No, I'm not tired. We're gonna use that little ad. Anyways, we ready to hop into the question?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Hey, my name is Christian, and I just have a quick question for you. I want to know if someone that's getting started with their mapping business and can't afford Pix4D, which is about $260 a month, is MapsMadeEasy a good option to get started? Please let me know if there's a better option. I have a Phantom 4 Pro, and I know that Paul, you always say that Pix4D is the best software for mapping on the planet, but the price is a little steep for a beginner, so I think MapsMadeEasy might be the best option, but I could be wrong. So please, I would love your input. Thank you guys. Love the show.
Thank you, Christian. Love you. Appreciate you sending in a question. AskDroneU.com is where Christian sent his question in, and we'd love to hear from you as well. And, he is in a boat that's full of a lot of people where they're really interested in this. And the idea of doing mapping for clients, it's exciting. It looks fun. It looks challenging. It's always changing. But getting going with something as expensive as Pix4D is difficult.
It really is. And I know that keeps a lot of people back. It also makes the process of learning a little bit more difficult. And I don't mean to shamelessly plug here, but if you do attend one of our mapping classes, we do give you access to a Pix4D subscription for about 3 weeks. So if you are looking to learn, it's a great way to do it. But that said, in all honesty and in an effort of transparency, MapsMadeEasy asked us to do a comparison of their product versus other products, because long and the short of it is that MapsMadeEasy is essentially a cloud processor now. Now, MapsMadeEasy has been an app, the Map Pilot app, that we have actually been teaching in our class for, I want to say, 4 years now, because it was one of the first that had terrain awareness in the app. So when it comes to acquiring images as a whole, and if you're in an area with undulating terrain, it's a phenomenal tool to help pilots get a good great data and maintain the ground sampling distance. Because again, we don't want to have, multiple altitudes of image acquisition, as we'll get a mean average of our ground sampling distance. Now, why Maps Made Easy? Well, they've come up with an entirely new pricing program. You don't actually have to pay for a subscription. And for this particular caller and some other questions that we've got in recently, Rob, I would say that this is a nice pricing model that people appreciate. On top of it, guess who Maps Made Easy's engine is?
I'm going to guess Pix4D.
Bingo. So here's the thing. You can actually use Maps Made Easy. You can buy points, and points essentially equate to how many images that you can process. So for example, if I pay $100, it gets me 6,000 points or 2,500 images to process. So depending on the size of your project, that could be anywhere from 5 small projects to 1 large project. Now, the reason that I kind of haven't fulfilled my promise in completing the comparison of all the new mapping engines that are out there is simply because I would say, honestly, Rob, I am ADD and I get disappointed quickly.
Meaning you, just want to revert, you get into them and you want to revert back to Pix4D? Is that what you're saying? Or
Well, there's one reason I really love Pix4D, and that's that you get the most bang for your buck. I know it's expensive, but you can really output any deliverable that you want to, and allows students to really explore these various deliverables to help support database decisions in their business. So, but if you're trying to really learn, you're trying to bring the cost down, Maps Made Easy is a phenomenal way to do it because of the credit-based system, essentially buying points or credits to produce maps. But here's the thing that should be very, very clear. You are limited in what type of images that you can upload. So for example, if you have more than a 70-degree oblique angle on your images, Maps Made Easy simply will not let you upload the images whatsoever. And so I feel like that was my disappointment, and this is really only a personal thing. It's nothing against Maps Made Easy, but I'm really more focused now on 3D deliverables, and we're going through the process of creating a new complex 3D reconstruction class to create lifelike models. But I will say, Maps Made Easy, if you're focused on strictly 2D deliverables, ortho mosaics, simple point clouds, and you're also interested, I'm pretty sure you can get DSMs out of it as well. It's a great, phenomenal product to get those deliverables at a cheaper price point than what a lot of other people are paying. And I think that's why Maps Made Easy is really growing. And they've had that acquisition app for a long time. So to see them add cloud processing using Pix4D and revolutionizing the pricing of processing.
I like that style of pricing.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal solution, Rob.
So question though, take somebody like Christian and he wants to use Maps Made Easy to kind of get going and spend a few months learning on Maps Made Easy. Well, but what I would picture, because it could still get expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you start needing to buy a whole bunch of points, it's going to add up to several months of Pix4D if you're not careful, right? So could you say buy 6,000 points for $100, 2,500 images, and then with that sort of in your tool chest, get a lot of practice done with that?
I think you could. I honestly do believe it's a phenomenal way to break into the mapping industry and get some good practice in.
Maybe even have a deliverable or two for a client that you're trying to get going with and that kind of thing.
100%. Yeah, no, I think it's actually quite good for that, in all honesty. I gotta say, like, if you're trying to do orthos, if you're trying to do, some lower end 2D deliverables, again, because it's using Pix4D, the most accurate point cloud generator on the planet, you're gonna get quality stuff out of it. The thing is that you might have some limitations in how you process, but for some users, that's also a benefit, as if I understand it correctly, there is a little bit of analysis that goes on here in this generator to help pilots make decisions on processing. So,
and so it removes some of the complexity that you deal with here if you're actually working in Pix4D.
Yes, yeah.
Actually, maybe a fair amount.
I would argue,
especially if you're doing the desktop version.
Bingo. Yeah, I would argue that, yes, I agree. I'm like, I got nothing. You're right.
Right on. No, I mean, it's encouraging, though, for folks out there like Christian who might have a tool to kind of work their way up to the Pix4D sort of cost level.
And during our last mapping class that we had here in July, and we are going to have more mapping classes, it seems like Delta is kind of rolling over, and with all the news about what's really working to stem this, I think it's time to hop back on the train. But that said, the last couple mapping classes, I've talked about Maps Made Easy and said, look, if you're trying to break into this, you don't have a lot of money, it's a phenomenal way to get some great deliverables. And here's the thing, if you can still download the point cloud, which I don't know, I never checked this, but if you can still download the point cloud and save that data, and let's say at some point, you go to Pix4D, you could take that point cloud and produce whatever 3D deliverables you would want. So
that would be cool.
Exactly. So there's back-end flexibility.
Yeah. Interesting.
Honestly, I would say it's a pro. I think that I think a lot of people know I'm very hesitant to really recommend other products, but I mean, Pix4D, Drone Deploy, MapsMadeEasy, they're really all making a lot of changes to grow and to help people. And I think this is a viable solution for people who really need a points-based system. And that also may not be just new users. That could be people who, they work for a construction company, but they do one big job a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, and they just don't need a lot of ongoing support. We also need you to kind of dig into some of the other options that are out there.
Oh, well,
right?
There's Metashape.
The world needs it.
No, I know. You asked me to update the mapping guide, as one of our competitors had done that as well. And that said, I think that there's a lot of new stuff out there. And I mean, that there was something I just found because, we've been talking about doing a class on capture reality because unless you're willing to pay the money for Bentley, which is absurdly expensive, capture reality is another credit-based system, but for 3D deliverables, right? 3D textured meshes, visualizations, etc., which, the movie studios are using quite a lot. Here's the thing though, as they just did their new update, they've made it so complex to produce these deliverables. They literally just made it harder, not easier, in my humble opinion. In fact, I noticed that Parker, who I follow closely, was writing about it in a Facebook group and noting how difficult it was to use. That said, we did just find a new how do I put this? A new piece of software that works in tandem with Pix4D to produce incredibly lifelike 3D textured meshes. It is so gorgeous. I'm not going to give it away here on the show. I'm going to make it a part of my class because I'm still digging into all this stuff amongst all the other things that we have going on right now. And I would say, if you are looking, let's just break this down really fast. If you are looking for non-georeferenced orthomosaic, what's the cheapest solution? Well, that's going to be Pix4D React, right? But the thing is that you're limited on the acquisition that you can fly, meaning single grid nadir camera position. If you can throw in a double grid, but you'll get funky roof lines and whatnot because of the oblique images. If you need geo-referenced or better quality orthomosaics, I would argue that MapsMadeEasy is a phenomenal cheap solution. The next level up from that is going to be Drone Deploy. Now, Drone Deploy has something that Pix4D and MapsMadeEasy doesn't have, which is that it uses machine learning to understand which is the best photogrammetric engine to use to produce your point cloud. So that said, I would also argue that that Drone Deploy is probably the fastest. Albeit when it comes to price points, it's going to be cheaper to use MapsMadeEasy. And then again, if georeferencing doesn't matter, single grid is good for you, then Pix4D React is probably the cheapest solution. Now, as soon as you move into 3D data, I'm going to recommend Pix4D as far as producing those point clouds. The best lifelike generator is probably still Capture Reality or Reality Capture, whichever name they decide to land on. And then if you're looking for, video game grade environment building, it's Context Capture from Bentley. Now, here's the thing. What was I just going to say? Let's see. There was an online 3D generator. Man, I just forgot what I was going to say about having a great 3D generator that's cheaper than those other solutions. But it's
have a swig of coffee.
Yeah,
Paul.
I know. Yeah, we are dragging booty today. We are recording, I would argue, 2 hours later than normal, and I am quickly wasting Rob's time in his productive workday. But that said, Pix4D now also has the cloud, which is great for 3D deliverables as well. Again, the thing that I keep trying to hammer with people is that when you work with cloud processors, you don't have full control of the data, which can sometimes limit your ability to actually produce these 3D deliverables. So with that said, I mean, there's a lot of options that are out there now, some more nuanced than others. I mean, Pix4D has Matic, right, for large data sets. Now they've got Inspect for communications inspections and reproduction. They've got Pix4D Survey for those surveyors out there using Pix4D. It really helps with planimetrics and whatnot. Frankly, there's a lot of options out there. But the other thing that I would say, and this is a question that has stomped surveying boards across the country, but if you're using a cloud processor, can you generate as accurate of a map as you could on a desktop? Currently, the answer is no, and it comes down to one unique, nuanced feature, and it's the ability to zoom all the way into your photos to mark a point, because every photogrammetric engine utilizes how much you zoom into the image to produce a more accurate trigonomic measurement, which comes down to what we call projection error. And I've talked about this, I think, just a couple weeks ago. And so if you truly want the most accurate information possible because you are a surveyor, then you're sticking to desktop. And if you're on the cloud and you're a surveyor and your material ever gets challenged, well, you better freshen up on your science of surveying or photogrammetry as a whole.
Trick people?
Well, I'm just going to say, there was that show that we put up and then took down, and I think we're going to put up again with a disclaimer about, I forget the name of the company, it was Skybrowser, the video-based mapping engine for public safety.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And I would say, while it is the fastest way to reproduce an accident scene, when I bring up a core question to every police department that asked me about it, and I said, well, when we tested it against Pix4D and against these other things, there was one thing that came out. We put shell casings in the road next to the cars, and in all the video-based photogrammetry solutions, it could not pick up those shell casings, but in the other ones, it could. So that said, it comes down to accuracy. And when I think of that, what I, as the son of a lawyer, what I think of is one, there's a system of kind of arbitration, but one, source information, two, interpretation, three, precedent. So when I think of all those things, and if I were a police officer and I had to defend my judgments and uses in court, I know the standard is low right now, but a good attorney could hire a SME, a subject matter expert that explains how these photogrammetric calculations occur that would absolutely devastate a police officer's ability to prove their findings when you're doing video-based point cloud production and you have this very minimal accuracy as a whole. So that said, I mean, this is again why our accident reconstruction class now up on props public safety for LEOs is going up right now. That's why it still teaches PICS, is because it always comes down to accuracy. You've got to be able to back up that data in court. And I know that not everyone has that mentality of like, well, you said it the other day with your friend, I always think of, well, what happens if it goes to court? And that's kind of how like my dad taught me to think, right? And so that is why I've been so staunch about what we have been training on, and it's paid off, Grateful again to the NTSB to be one of their required training companies, because that high standard proves itself, essentially like, a lot of people call themselves the top gun of flight schools, but they don't have the credentials that we've earned. And I'm proud of that.
Well, and it's really interesting because it's like buying insurance. So many of us pay insurance literally for a lifetime and hopefully never use it, particularly certain types of insurance. So in the same kind of way of thinking, you've got to be prepared to go to court, even though it's highly unlikely it's going to happen. Number one, because the people that might be on the other side of this particular issue, they're not even going to know what they don't know, like what questions to ask.
True.
But you still have to be prepared just in case. So,
well, and it's only going to take one high-profile case for every lawyer to be educated on this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so,
then you're giving them too much credit.
maybe I give a lot of people too much credit, including myself.
I'm being too cynical. That's funny, including myself. That's funny.
So, the reason I have this high standard, Rob, is because I have deep empathy for law enforcement and public safety.
Totally.
Because man, they are shit on left and right. They are stuck between the middle of the puppetry of what government says versus like what society kind of accepts. And they're just always kind of put in the middle and trying to, they're trying to care for people. They're trying to do it right. And oftentimes they're set up to fail. And I will say, when I see companies sell to law enforcement and sell to public safety and sell them a half-assed product that only goes halfway, it's like, that's like the sin of sins in my interpretation, because here are people who are trying, they're open, they're trying to do it right, they're trying to be humble, they're trying to learn, and you're setting them up to fail.
Well, and they're trying to do things to protect their community and the populace society, right?
Yeah.
They're living in many ways sacrificially. So
it's like screwing over a firefighter. Like, how would you feel if you screwed over a firefighter? John, I'm sorry. I'm just kidding.
Well, ultimately, we don't want to screw over anybody. But, sir, I suppose you could say some people less than others.
This is true. Yeah. Right, Mike? No, I'm just kidding again. Okay. Anyway, I hope you guys hear that. I love you guys.
We might send it to you to make sure you do.
But anyway, no, I mean, it just goes to show, like, I know that there's, like, kind of the standard, and the standard is low. But, as someone who studied to become a police officer, I have a degree in criminology, doesn't mean much. But as someone who studied, and I didn't go in as LEO, and I'm grateful I didn't go in as LEO, because I think it would have racked my mind, and it's taken me until I've been 33 years old to really understand the power of empathy and to understand why the right way of doing things is more powerful than the instant gratification means of thinking that other things will do better. And so I think it would have ruined me as a human. And so I look at police, I look at firefighters, again, the ones that are trying to do it right, they're open, they're humble. I look at them and I'm like, man, you guys are strong. And like, man, I really appreciate what you do for society, because it's not getting any easier. And the book, The Fourth Turning, is coming true.
Yeah.
In
some ways it is, unfortunately.
Well, on that diatribe.
Yeah. Well, God, we just went.
Goodbye.
All right. Anyways,
Goodbye.
I think we've answered Christian's question. But as always, follow-up questions are welcome.
Definitely. And actually, by the way, there was a, speaking of law enforcement, so there was a very big question that came in, but it kind of came in under the radar. I feel like this is a good opportunity to answer this question. Mm-hmm. But we had a group of police officers asking about the Skydio X2, I want to say it was E for Enterprise, and the scan option. And there's a piece of information that I believe is very important. While I think the Skydio did a very good job at scan, it does great things for 3D. There is one thing it is not, and I'm sure they're going to change this soon. I wish they would change the flight mode soon, but whatever. And that is, it's not CGIS compliant. And so, another thing to think about, what is CGIS compliant? Every single cloud-based processor is almost not CGIS compliant. We talk about the video-based processing. That company, I'm pretty sure it's Skybrowse. Hold on one second. Skybrowse. They are CGIS compliant. Yeah, Skybrowse is it. So the thing that you've got to give Skybrowse credit for, which is, again, why I believe that we should put that show back up, but with a disclaimer, is that their process, it is cloud-based, and it is CGIS compliant. So you got to give Bobby props to that. Bobby, props. Sorry I haven't responded to your email yet. I've got like 30,000 emails right now, and I'm trying to go through them all. So apologies, and I appreciate you trying to reach out, man. I really do. So thank you, and we're going to have you on the show soon. So that all said, there's a lot of development in the mapping world right now, Rob. It's so hard to stay on top of because there's so much coming out, and what we're seeing is really a bifurcation of the products that are coming out, meaning they're more nuanced applications, less kind of broad, oh, you can do everything with this software.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that's the macro takeaway.
Well, I'm certainly no help when it comes to keeping up with processing software. So,
well, actually, you are help, and you know how you are help is I was talking to Kevin. And because we had the mapping class at the wedding venue where Rob's son just got married. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I was talking to Kevin, and he was kind of visualizing where things were going. And I pulled up the map, and I was like, well, here's a good 2-scale map that you can kind of get an idea of where to put things for the venue. And he's like, I haven't seen this. Did you put this online? And I was like, I thought I did. But he said it was useful to him to help visualize where to put things for a wedding, which I had never really thought of before.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Very
cool. Makes me think maybe Kara has another business opportunity.
I'm sure she does.
On that note, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks again for joining us. Thanks for the review. And if you want to support Drone U, we're not going to make you pay to listen to the show, but we would ask you to consider becoming a Drone U member, because as I have learned recently in these graduate courses that I have been taking, there's so much inspiration and motivation that comes with learning. And, as drone pilots, we don't know it all. There's always something to learn. And with Drone U, whether you're brand new or you've been flying for a long time, we can help you. And I recommend that you become a Drone U member today, especially now with the supercharged community and our own proprietary app. It's awesome. Check it out. That's going to do it for us today. My name is Paul.
Rob.
Goodbye.